is up where we can see it.
Okay.
Most of them were down here by your waist. So start with it up here. Make sure that it's up like at least a beat early.
Okay.
Once more. You might want to start with your left hand up just because you've got two quick cues in a row, right? Hands up just a little bit higher. Generally, yeah, there you go. So on your cues, yeah, that was better. Good height, good height. Now, when you cue, just special in this style, I think you need to go down and come back up just a little bit. It should kind of mirror your ictus in your other hand. So up here, you're up here, and if you're cueing on one, you want to go one.
Okay.
One. Not just. So it should have a little bit of.
Yeah.
To indicate the attack, right? So it doesn't have to be a hard attack or a heart attack either. Just like that. Okay. So there's a little bit of a bounce. Just take it from the top one more time.
Okay.
When you cue these guys over here, if you're going to do it with your baton or your head, make sure that it's real obvious what you're doing. You don't want your cues to be subtle up to a point, especially in a rehearsal. You want to make sure that it's unambiguous and that people know that you're cueing them. So if I'm cueing to my right, two,
Okay.
a real indication with the chin, and again a little bounce, just to indicate the attack.
Okay.
Very much better. Make sure your hand is up plenty early. You can have a seat. Did we? Yay! Did we talk about the drill last time? The cueing drill? Okay, it must have been the other class. So, the cueing drill is in any, in all, especially in 2, 3, and 4 meters. This will help you a lot, I think. You cue, if we're in 4, cue on 1, 2, 3, 4, chronologically as you go through your pattern. So first time I'm going to cue on 1. Next bar I'm going to cue on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's the drill. In 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And in 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, or whatever. Mix it up, go down, change the beat every time you go through the pattern. Make it random. Okay, now I'm going to cue on 3. Here we go. I'm going to cue on 3 here. 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. But if you can do that drill, keep your pattern, and you can keep your pattern going, and do subsequent beats, do random beats, do them in order, do whatever it takes. But that's how you learn how to cue in every beat. Because what we're seeing in this particular excerpt, I'll get to you in a second, is that 2 is a lot more difficult than 1, isn't it? 1's easy. I don't have to think about that because that's down. But if I've got a cue on 2, then suddenly I've got to go down as my baton's going up. And that gets tricky. Yes, ma'am?
Can you do that exercise subdivided? So, like, cue the syncopation?
Oh, sure. The syncopation quote cues, it's just a little bit more emphatic. That's all. But first I would get really expert at queuing on every beat. Yes, ma'am.
Would you try the 3 different cues then too? Or do you just want it like a pan?
Oh, I do. I absolutely. Try them all. Do them all with a baton. I mean, the baton's probably the easiest one, right? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And, you know, make an imaginary group. I'm going to cue the trumpets on 2. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Baton, for me, tends to be a combination of head and baton because unless you're doing something else over here, why not give them a little bit more indication? Again, the less ambiguity in your cues, the better. That way nobody has any excuses, right? Oh, you didn't give us a cue. Oh, yes, I did. So, yeah.
You said about like queuing on 2, you're moving the baton down.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Well, like
Yeah.
over here, 2, 1, 2. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, you're queuing down while the baton's coming up. If you're going to cue on 2, right? 1, 2.
Okay.
Your cue isn't going up, and your baton's coming up. 1,
We
2.
talked about it last semester.
Mhm.
Like it was, I think Dr. Moss called it impulsive will, where you were still like doing a 2 motion, but you just like made it more like.
That'll work too.
Okay.
If you actually are able to communicate the impulse of your will,
Right.
then you're probably pretty far ahead of most of your classmates at this point. But yeah, that's
easier than
it's something to work on. But you got to be able to do that too, because you're not always going to want to go "Mwah," like that. I mean, that might not work. What if you want a little tiny entrance? 2, 1, 2. That's not really that hard. Mm,
Yeah. I don't know.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can kind of, you end up going up just a little bit if you bounce, you know, 1, 2, 1, 2. But it's just not, it's not a mirror. You don't want to go 2, 1, 2.
Okay, that's what I
Think of it.
used to doing, I guess. But
2, 1, 2. Well, work on the other thing. The more technique you have, the better. I mean, it's you know, impress your friends. Any questions on that? So work on the drill. I think we'll probably mess around with the drill a little bit next Tuesday when we come back. So work on it a little bit so that you don't look silly trying it. All right. Let's go on, Cassie. No, it's still on, so all that got on the video. Just generally, and I said this the other class, and I'm sorry to pontificate, but so much of music is subjective, right? It's what works, it's what you like, and what I'm trying to do, what your other teachers are trying to do, is give you a basic knowledge, a basic technique, so that you can go from there when you find out what works best for you and what you're most comfortable with. But mostly what works best, because that's the whole point. If it works, great, use it.
Wait, I have a question. So where are the tenors? I know you two are
Tenor.
bass. Okay, you're the only tenor?
And Sam's playing tenor too, but you go ahead and cue the tenors right here. And then
Oh,
the
okay.
bass is over there.
All right, I was wondering because I couldn't see that.
Okay, good. The pattern was pretty good. It's probably a little bit big,
Okay.
so I think you can make it a little bit smaller, and your cues can be a little bit less emphatic too.
Okay.
If you want everybody to come in, boom,
Okay.
then that's good. If you want them to come in, duh. And then once you're done with your cue, get rid of your hand.
Okay, yeah, that's hard.
I know it is. It's hard to get your hands still and then cue and then get rid
Yeah,
of
it is. Yeah.
But that's what you want to work on.
Okay.
Do it once more from the top. And I think a couple of your cues were a little bit early.
Yeah, yeah. Or no,
So-
I actually started going into the pattern. I caught myself doing that.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
you want to
happened.
avoid that. You don't want to mirror with your left hand,
Okay.
except on the cue beat.
All right.
Start one more time. So yeah, I think you can leave your left hand up and you want to go Q da da.
So I can bring it in like this, maybe.
Well, leave it up for your first two entrances. Dee dee da ba, because then your next one is right away, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
and then I can put it down. Okay.
Then put it down and relax. You're just working too hard. That's all. For your second cue, make sure that your hand needs to be a little bit higher so that you can bring it up, so that you're prepping your cue, right? So you want to prep your cue just like
Yeah.
cue and cue, cue.
Yeah, like it says in the book.
Cue. One. Cue.
All right.
Get off the beat.
Because of the cue, yeah.
Because of the cue on two, but actually because of the cue, the tenor cue, then the whole rest of the time you're actually off the beat.
Yeah.
Your left hand needs to bounce just slightly and not be so much as slapped down.
It's messing.
You'll see it on the video. Look at me. So you're kind of slapping.
I know
So
because
it
the.
just needs to be a little bit more graceful. And at this tempo and in this dynamic level, it can be really pretty
Right.
small.
I was
You don't-
trying to tap and it came out.
Yeah. So just something to work on. Just something to work on. Okay. Maria? That unfortunately takes that practice to get really good. Because your cue is a little ambiguous
Yeah.
in the bases, they didn't not both,
Yeah.
both Brad and Andrew didn't come in quite at the same time. On your cue, it can be a little bit less emphatic. It doesn't have to be quite
Okay.
such a big gesture. Just a little tap,
Okay.
like little fairy tapping.
Okay.
So try it one more time. It's okay. Make your pattern just a little bit smoother. You don't have to do quite so much with the beats. So less wrist, more arm. Just a little bit of arm, a little bit of wrist right on the beats.
Okay.
But basically, it's just this. Okay. Second system. Sorry, second system. Everybody know where we are? Second system. So I think this is the tenor entrance, right? So you
Yeah.
can cue the tenor. Smooth. working on that as it was just a little bit too much emphasis on the beats and rhythm. Okay,
Okay.
good job. Nice improvement. Nice tweak and basis. Very nice. Make sure you
Sorry.
move if you're holding them.
Okay.
Just get into the habit of moving. That way it'll ensure that they're not going to, the volume won't drop sustained full. Keep your, start it for me and play it for me one more time from the very beginning. Nice pattern. Very good size. That's a really good size pattern for this dynamic flow. Okay, so it's less out than it is down. So.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. Sorry. Da, 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 dee. So prep it and make it look, if your hand's just up there and occasionally it does this, it's not as effective as if you do something a little bit different with it.
Right.
So maybe you want to pull it back a little bit, change the shape of your hand or something, but your cue should look a little bit different. Dee, 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 da.
Okay.
So if you pull it back, it'll be a little bit more demonstrative. It'll be more obvious when you do one cue. Do it from the top one more time. Good. Nice. Yeah, very good. Very good. Good job. You can give the basses a little bit more on it. Just alter your pattern enough so that your head cue is working great. If you're going to do it with your baton cue, then alter your pattern shape just a little bit so that we know it's something different happening. That's great. Very nice. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Your cues were effective. Let me make a couple suggestions. In your pattern, occasionally you have a tendency to stop, almost come to a stop out here, and it's a little, so it looks a little jerky instead of kind of a smooth, constant motion.
Okay.
So this is something to work on in general. So nice, smooth like a pendulum. Think of this one, especially two, can almost be pendulum-like with a little rise in the middle.
Okay.
So your cues a little bit less slappy. And your hand doesn't have to come up nearly as high. It shouldn't really get a hold. Occasionally you might want to get it higher than your baton, especially if you're reaching out to a section kind of far away. but these people are close. So keep both your hands kind of the same plane, consistent height and width away from your body. So, and Q, 2, 1, Q, 1. And you want your prep for your Q to be kind of consistent with what's going on in your pattern. So if you have a big pattern going, and your Q needs to have a big prep like that. With this, it's small, and your pattern size is fine. So it just needs to be little, and 1, like that.
Okay.
So this, not this, but right in here. Okay? Try it one more time. And if your first 2 Qs are kind of right after one another. So I'd keep your left hand up. Start with a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
So start with your left hand up. There you go. Hands are just a little bit higher.
A little bit higher.
There you go. Okay. Good. That's better. That's better. They're lower now, and that's good. They could be even a little bit lower still. And once you cue, there should be a little bit of a bounce. So it's just not down. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You don't want that. It's just not definitive enough, is it? It doesn't define the beat. So you're going to define the beat. 1, 2, 1. So there's a little bounce, a little ictus even with your left hand. Okay? Once more, please. But much better. Okay, so now you were thinking about your left hand. That's great. But now think about your left hand and make sure your prep is good, because your prep is only about here. So prep.
Okay.
So consider the size of the pattern you're about to make your prep consistent with that pattern.
Okay.
So that size pattern requires something like that.
Okay.
So your left hand's still coming up. Let me do both. Let me do both hands.
Okay.
Let me check your grip. Get this down on the palm of your hand just a little bit more. Bring this up here. So here's what I'm looking for. Down here, thumb here. Yeah, that's good. And then your fingertip. So I think you can get a good feel for the baton right about in there. So not the fingertip, but this side, kind of like your fingertip. Does that feel comfortable? You should be able to relax. You should almost feel like if you relaxed a little bit more, your baton would fall out of your hand.
Yeah.
So you need to be relaxed without being too much. That's good. Just make sure your hand stays up, and then you turn it here. So relax. There you go. Good. Okay, I'm going to do both your hands here. Okay, here we go. Let's play. Understand?
Yeah.
So let's do it one more time. So it can be a small gesture, and this hand just needs to kind of be in line with the other one.
Yeah.
So, and 1, 2, and 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Feel different?
Yeah.
Okay. You did it totally different. Wait. No, you did it much differently than you just did it with me.
Okay.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So right here, and then Now see how much higher your hand's going than your other hand? Watch yourself.
I honestly can't.
Watch yourself once. You see how different your hands are?
Mm-hmm.
So they really need to be in the same place. There you go.
Okay.
And they can both be a little higher, but this one doesn't need to go up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just keep your focus right here. It just helps us.
Okay.
That's it. Very good. first couple. It gets harder after that because then you have to kind of remember.
Yeah.
But concentrate on keeping your hands about the same. Little bounce on your cue, boom, just like your baton, right?
Yeah.
And boom, and work on making that pattern consistent. It actually got really good in the second half. Look good, but just something to work on.
Okay.
Okay. Good job. Just watch yourself real quick, just the first couple of bars. Let's see what you see. What do you see? Does anything stand out to you?
Maybe this needs to be higher.
Exactly. Very good. That's the first thing. These need to be a little more subtle, especially at this tempo and dynamic level. So you still have to do very much at all, and that's just a little bit too much. So keep your hand up here, and just a little indication with your finger, thumb and forefinger, and then wait for the next one, and then get rid of it, and then bring it up in plenty of time for each of your cues. So do it once more. Okay. But yeah, higher is good. Make sure your hands are even. There you go. Good. The shape of your pattern is very nice, and a nice wrist action, especially the second half once you got into it. So just something to work on. Just a little higher in general, and you caught it. That's great. And smaller on your cues. Make sure that you're prepped for them. The drill we were talking about will help you, because what you need to do is, what we all need to do, is make sure that that your hand is up at least one beat before you want to cue somebody at this tempo. In a faster tempo, you need to be even a little bit before that. Okay. Good. Yeah. Well, we're really gonna make it. Higher, right. Look at your hand. There you go. Okay, beat me a couple of patterns just by yourself, not for the group, and watch yourself. So what do you see?
Out too far?
Well, you're coming up and over altitude.
Am I still doing that?
Yeah. See? Yeah, there you go. That's totally different. Yeah, that's it. Just do the first line real quick with the cues. Keep your hand up. Make sure they're level. Yeah, look in the. There you go. Good. just make sure your hands up and prepped, and it's a little motion like this, up even with your baton, at least chest high. Down here isn't going to really help us. And cue, and cue. Okay? Okay, good.
Do you want,
Gotcha.
wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you want the left hand to be like more up, or does it matter the angle of the left hand?
Yeah, basically, I don't want you to look tight. I want you to look relaxed, especially at something like this, where it's a calm legato thing. So trying to avoid this in either hand, which to me looks kind of, yeah. So it's just a relaxed thing, and you use your wrist just like you use it with your baton hand. Dee-da-dee-dee. Hurry, we can do it. Okay. Go. Okay, good. Pattern looks nice. I like the height and the size of it. It's very nice. Your cues just prep them and make sure that little bouncy thing. Got plenty of time. Okay, just do the first couple of bars for me. Okay. That's fine. So what I'm looking for is on the first one here, and then hang around there. Don't drop your left hand off before you give us a little bounce.
Yeah. Okay.
So 1, 2, 2. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Oh, here we go. The more critical you can be when you're looking at your videos of yourself, and a lot of you are making really good observations on your balance and like we do it in classes. So keep it up. Hands just a little bit back. You know, you're doing a little bit of that, so relax. When you cue those guys, they need to get a little bit more than.
Yeah.
So give them a prep with your chin, just like you do it with your hand. So if you're going to do that, you will go. Yep, up and then down. Yep, yep. Just do the first couple bars real quick. So don't mirror for your cue. Make your cue go down. You don't want it to go out. You just want to go here. So that's something to practice, right? Going down, real quick. That's better. That's better. That's good. And I think I said smoother in the middle while you're doing it, right? It's just a little bit emphatic for this kind of a piece. So just nice and smooth, mostly on. Okay, John. Thanks for hanging on an extra 30 seconds for Mr. George. He's worth it. Right?
Hope so.
Cock, yeah, just relax a little bit and it'll look better. Nice looking pattern, really good. Give them the up and down thing if you're gonna cue with your head.
Okay.
Good. Any questions or anything? Anyone? Good. I think we went over the Beethoven in 9/7, which we'll look at first next time, along with 9/2, I believe it is. So we'll look at those on Tuesday. I'll send you an email. I'll be in touch. Have a nice day off. You're welcome. Have a good time at OMEA. And everybody knows it. Fair enough? Yeah. Sure. Uh-oh, that got on tape. I'll have to erase that part.